So Speak podcast. This is going to be an updated timeline for the Gabby Petito case. I'm not going to list off all the places that Gabby and Brian went to in July. I've done that before twice because at that time we were trying to figure out all the places they went and consider those places as where she can possibly be. And now we know all along that she was in Grand Teton National Park in the Spread Creek camping area, deceased. And the couple appeared to stick around a specific area from the end of July until the August 12th domestic incident. On the 30th of July was Canyonland National Park, and then on August 12th they were in Moab, Utah, in Arches National Park, and these two locations are 30 minutes apart from each other. So they have their incident on August 12th. It is unknown or unconfirmed still if Brian really did go back to Florida in August for a period of time, for how long, and for what for. Her family wrote a note saying it was from the day after the domestic incident, so the 13th, until the 23rd. But an article claimed that it was the 17th through the 23rd. I am not sure where they got that information. And we've talked about this many times on this channel. We don't know for sure which dates it actually is or if this actually happened. And we don't know the real reason why he went. We also don't know if he drove or flew. There's a lot of assumption that he flew, but we don't know that for sure. So this is unconfirmed that at some point after the incident on the 12th that Brian possibly had went back to Florida for a period of time. Unconfirmed. On August 21st, her father spoke with her and was helping her fix her website for the blog, and he had ordered her a pizza. Gabby's mother, Nicole Schmidt, said that she FaceTimed with Gabby. She said it was on the 23rd or the 24th. I've not seen her actually pick which day it was thus far. On August 24th, Gabby is seen on camera checking out of a Salt Lake City, Utah hotel, which we now know was the Fairfield Inn. From the Arches National Park, where they were on the 12th, to Salt Lake City area, where she stayed in a hotel, is 3.5 hours away. And this stop is en route to go from Arches National Park up to Yellowstone area, which was a destination they had on their itinerary. The hotel thing is confirmed information. She's on video. On August 25th, it was the last time her mother, Nicole, spoke to Gabby, but it was on the phone only. Gabby told her mother that she was in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Grand Teton is 5 hours from Salt Lake City, where she had checked out of a hotel there the day prior. They stopped at the Monarch in Ogden, Utah, which was her last Instagram post on the 25th. And it's the picture of her with a pumpkin in front of a butterfly mural. This is important because this is when they arrived at Grand Teton, and this is where her body was. This is confirmed because her mother spoke to her and she said she was alive and she was okay. And there's also a picture of her and she's obviously okay in the picture. On August 26th, a man claims he saw Brian at a bar alone and that he fought with another man and that Brian was agitated. He claims this bar was near Yellowstone. Yellowstone is not super far from Teton, but being alone, the story is quite questionable. This is unconfirmed. This is his claim that he saw Brian at a bar near Yellowstone on the 26th. Also, a store in Victor, Idaho claims the couple was in his store. He said it was the 25th or the 26th. He was unsure, but it was the end of August. And he said they seemed happy. Victor, Idaho is an hour from Grand Teton and almost 2 hours from Yellowstone. So this store and this man who claims to have seen Brian in a bar near Yellowstone, possibly on the same day, conflicts with one another. So the person who claims to have seen him at a bar and this Idaho shop, these two stories conflict because they're claiming it was possibly on the same day. Both of these things are unconfirmed. The store may be more believable because they might have evidence or video to show that the couple was there, whereas this man on the internet claiming he saw Brian in a bar is a little bit less credible, but both stories are unconfirmed by law enforcement. On the 27th, we recently learned that her mother received a text from Gabby's phone in which Gabby had referred to her grandfather as Stan when she didn't call him by his first name normally, and she thought this was weird. It was not clarified if it struck her odd at the time or in hindsight when she couldn't get a hold of Gabby is when she thought that was strange. Also on the 27th, unconfirmed, okay, if this is on the same day, there was an altercation, according to a woman on Instagram, with Gabby and Brian and a hostess at the Merry Piglet in Jackson, Wyoming. The restaurant yesterday only confirmed that they did visit the restaurant at some point. They did not say or confirm what day, what time, or if an altercation happened like the woman claimed it did. We talked about this incident last night. I'm sorry, in my last video, not last night. I did my update video for yesterday this morning, so I'm a little confused. And so, this woman claims there was a big scene at the restaurant, and this was on the 27th. Again, her story is unconfirmed. The only part of it that is confirmed is that at some point, Gabby and Brian visited this restaurant because the restaurant said that they confirmed it via video footage. So, also on the 27th, the vloggers who captured the van off a dirt road in the Sprague Creek dispersing camp where they located the body of Gabby Petito was taken. So that's the day that their video footage caught the van on the side of the road. This is confirmed now. This is factual. And then a TikTok lady has claimed that she picked up Brian in Coulter Bay area, and he said that he had been hiking for days, had just taken a shower and cleaned himself up, and she says that there were showers where she picked him up. He was not dirty, although he'd been hiking for days. He freaked out about going south because he needed to go north, so when Miranda started driving south, he got out of the car. She claimed it was 10 miles, I believe, yet he was allegedly in her car for 40 minutes, so that alone makes no sense. It also doesn't make sense that he would abandon the van near the body. If people went looking for her, they'd find the exact location by the abandoned van, because that's where her body, we now know, was. So why hike on foot and hitchhike when he had a vehicle to escape? He also did need to go south, not north. And he hiked for days, never seeing anybody else to pick him up or call an Uber. And it took him 2 days to hike about 12 to 15 miles. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then that means he went another 10 miles in this car, then he got out, and now he had to get all the way back to this van 20 miles away and get back there in time to leave the scene and be out of that area because he gets back on the 1st. So he had to be out of that area by the next day on the 30th, okay? Personally, I don't believe this story. I never have. I'm not convinced that this is true. She may have picked somebody up. I'm just not sold that it was him. So this information, I'm sharing it because it's part of what the timeline could be. But at this time, it is completely, the entire story is completely unconfirmed entirely. On August 30th, a text went out to Gabby's mom saying no service in Yosemite. It is unknown if this is an autocorrect issue or this was said intentionally. It was also unclear if this was Gabby or Brian. Given the confirmed time that Brian arrived back in Florida alone, Brian would have needed to somewhere between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. on the 30th leave that area in order to get back on September 1st at 10:26 a.m. So it really could be either of them, but it's more likely that it was not Gabby. So her mother said she did the math and it doesn't add up that it could have been Gabby. This text is confirmed. However, who wrote the text is unconfirmed. The FBI is asking anybody who visited the Sprague Creek area and Grand Tetons to please contact them if you saw or heard anything between the days of 27th to the 30th, which makes a lot of sense because the vlogger video was taken on the 27th and Brian had to leave by the evening of the 30th. So something happened to Gabby in this 2.5 to 3 day time frame. At minimum, this is when he left her dead or alive. On September 1st at 10:26 a.m., Brian arrived back in Northport, Florida. This is confirmed by traffic cameras, so this is confirmed information. This is straight from the police and FBI. So neighbors allege after he returned, he was out mowing the lawn, riding bikes with his mom, and allegedly the family had gone on a 3-day weekend trip in their camper. They were unsure of the exact day, but they claim it was after he got back, but before anybody in the neighborhood was aware that Gabby had been reported missing. This is unconfirmed. Yes, they said they shared it with the FBI, and yes, they told us the story, but the police have not confirmed this story, and at minimum, if it's true, which I do believe that it's true, we don't know which exact days. We also talked about this in my video this morning more thoroughly, and I kind of said that it was probably Labor Day weekend based upon what this couple said, if true. We just don't know for sure. And then on September 10th, the family, after trying to reach Gabby and then trying to reach Brian, they then reached out to Brian's parents and sister, and nobody replied to them. Her mother went to report her missing at her local police station, Suffolk County, in Long Island area, but was blown off because Gabby's an adult. She returned the next day, and at that time, whoever she spoke to allowed her to file a report. This is confirmed. September 11th, the official report is made. The police in the mother's area contacted Northport police, who then went by the home to knock on the door. According to police, they did see Brian in the home this day. They just didn't speak to him. And this is when they found that the van was in the driveway, which was very alarming. According to the Petito Schmidt lawyer, Richard Stafford, he said that when police went to the door on the 11th, the parents handed them a number to their lawyer. So that is confirmed by credible people. Police started to speak with neighbors and were leaving pink envelopes outside the parents' home and attempted several times to speak with them. And this is confirmed by reporters who took pictures and video. There was a lot of activity outside the Laundrie home after she had been reported missing, where they had seen them trying to speak with the parents and they weren't answering the door or they weren't home. On the 14th, a statement went out from Stephen Bertolino, the Laundrie's lawyer, acknowledging that a search for Gabby was taking place and said that the Laundrie family would be staying in the background during this time. The Petito and Schmidt lawyer released a response to that statement directed to Brian Laundrie, talking about how he left Gabby behind in the wilderness. Why isn't he helping search for her? And they called Brian selfish and reprehensible. This is the day, the 14th, that Brian allegedly went on a hike to the Carlton Reserve, but we do not find out about it just yet. Video footage shows Brian's Mustang not in the driveway this day. On September 5th, Bertolino put out another statement advising that he had advised his client to not speak at this time due to his experience that intimate partners are always the first suspect or who police focus in on. And at this point, Brian had been gone a day, but we, the public, did not know this, and neither did the police. Video footage from the reporters show the Mustang had returned on Wednesday. The parents admitted they brought the Mustang home from the Carlton Reserve because it had a letter on it that it would be towed. And a press conference was held by Northport Police with Gabby's father and stepmom present on the 16th. I said it was the 14th last night. That was my mistake. The Laundrie family lawyer claims that this is the day they brought the Mustang home, but the video footage shows that it came home the day prior, so there's a conflict there. On the 16th, Gabby's family lawyer read a letter directed to Brian's parents, begging them as a parent to help them locate their daughter. On September 17th, police finally made it inside the Laundrie home, but only because their lawyer called the police, telling them that the Laundries wanted to speak with them. And there was a press conference set in Wyoming just prior to this at 6 p.m. that abruptly was canceled. We learned that night that Brian Laundrie had fled and that he had been gone since Tuesday the 14th. Saturday the 18th, search began for Brian Laundrie in the Carlton Reserve. That evening, crews set up in Grand Teton National Park to begin searching for Gabby. This same day, his sister Cassie had given a brief interview. Nothing of importance was really said. And so did her best friend, Rose. She gave an interview and she talked about the couple and basically said that Brian was controlling. On the 19th in Northport, they continued searching for Brian Laundrie in the Carlton Reserve. On the other side of the country, a search was being conducted to find Gabby Petito. Later that day, Gabby was found deceased, not far from where the van was parked in the vlogger's video. A press conference was held where they let the public know, and they did share that the family had been notified. The 20th, which was Monday, all searches for Brian were suspended, as was media interviews. Early on in the morning, police arrived at the Laundrie home to execute a court-approved search warrant at the Laundrie home. They were there for a good 8 hours. The Laundrie's lawyer made and then canceled a press conference that was going to happen on the 21st, saying that the FBI and him had spoken and that he decided to cancel the press conference. On Tuesday the 21st, they continued the search for Brian Laundrie in the Carlton Reserve, this time from the Venice side of the reserve, not the Northport side. This day was when Gabby's body was at the coroner's undergoing an autopsy, and the manner of death was released, and it was said to be homicide. No cause of death was released at this point. Wednesday the 23rd, again, they continued to search for Brian in the Carlton Reserve, and nothing notable was found. Today, they are back there once again, and his parents were seen pulling the Mustang back into the driveway that had been towed away on Monday after the search warrant was executed. So that's where we're at this time. That includes all the possibilities as well, and sources and things that are going around. As we go along, I'm going to update the timeline and keep everybody kind of focused on sticking to that timeline, because there's a lot going around, right? And so it's really hard to keep up with everything and kind of keep dates right and all that other stuff. So I'm going to do the best I can to keep track of all this. So until next time, I'll see you soon.